This opening ceremony. I know that given it is the month of celebrating the heritage of the first peoples, you must be scheduled to go elsewhere. And we're thankful that you could join us for this time. I thank you residents for taking the time off of your obviously many house chores to come out this morning for what must be an important development in your life and the quality of your housing experience in Parfaite Harmony. Indeed, this road provides access to 6 areas. So when I say Parfaite Harmony, we're referring to Parfaite Phase 1 and 2, on the Naming, Phase 1 and 2, Westminster Phase 1 and 2, Regdorsey Phase 1 and 2, Schoonard, and Luston Russ. All these new housing areas will benefit from this new road of about approximately 3.5 kilometers. Ladies and gentlemen, this morning I want to ask you to welcome the Chief Executive Officer of the Central Housing and Planning Authority, Ms. Pitt, as she gives brief remarks.
Good morning to you. Today we are here to commission the alternative access to the La Parfaite Harmony housing area. This alternative was of critical importance to us at CH&PA, since we were certain that it was needed to enhance more direct access to and from the area and relieve congestion that would result as the area becomes fully occupied. This road is 3.5 kilometers in length and 10.6 meters wide. It's designed to accommodate 2 lanes of traffic and is linked to the Parfaite housing area by way of a heavy-duty bridge, which in turn interconnects with the existing north to south access to Parfaite from the Canal No. 1 road. La Parfaite is the largest housing scheme developed by the Central Authority in this region. The scheme is 7 miles from Georgetown and a mere 4 miles from the Demerara Harbour Bridge. And it was once a sugar plantation which was established during the 17th to the 19th century during the struggle among the French, British and Dutch over control of our country's sugar plantations. Development of the area commenced in 1999. The area currently consists of 6 plantations that are parallel to one another, with Parfaite Harmony, Regdorsey, on the Naming and Westminster, developed into 2 phases, with Luston Russ due west and Schoonard due east. The entire scheme comprises 8,743 lots, and there's a projected population of approximately 40,000 persons when the entire area is fully developed. CHPA remains committed to La Parfaite Harmony's development through ongoing infrastructural provision, integrated community planning, and development efforts. The scheme already has facilities such as a primary school, health center, and a multi-purpose community, with construction of a secondary school to begin shortly at Westminster Phase 2. We have already identified and allocated 5 acres of land to the Guyana Water Inc. for the design and construction of a water treatment plant that will serve the West Bank area including Parfaite Harmony. Plans are also in place for the construction of a polyclinic. The area also has reserved sites for the construction of a police station and magistrates court. And land is also available for commercial and industrial areas that will provide employment for persons in Parfaite Harmony and contiguous areas. The Central Authority is also committed to working in partnership with residents to develop La Parfaite. So, among other things, reform community aesthetics by way of street signage and tree planting, increase house lot occupancy, affordability, and sustainable, mainly for low-income families through the Core House Pilot Initiative. Improve the quality of life, especially for low-income families, through the House Improvement Subsidy Pilot. Developing a waste management strategy, and to improve community outreach and participation. To this end, in collaboration with the community, we have already prepared a community development plan which will be implemented over a period of time. With a current occupancy rate of 55%, Parfaite Harmony continues to grow. The completion of the road therefore signals the continuation of integrated development, accelerated take-up of lots, and the linkage of the community with existing road networks to improve connectivity. It is said that roads are among the most important public assets in a country, since they redound to the benefit of communities through better access to hospitals, schools, markets, greater comfort, speed, safety, and lower vehicle operating costs. The Parfaite Harmony Highway is now a reality. We will continue to develop the road by installing traffic light control at the junction with the West Bank Public Road, installing street lights to provide security and safety for the persons who will use the road, and at the same time, continue to upgrade the tertiary roads within the Parfaite Harmony area. As I conclude these brief remarks, I would like to share this quote with the community, and it goes this way, I quote, "Some journeys take you further from where you come from, but closer to where you belong." Some of the beneficiaries I know, when they were allocated their lots, may have had to relocate to Region 3, maybe farther from where they came, and their journey to their new homes might have been longer than expected. This road will certainly bring them closer to where they belong. Ladies and gentlemen, I thank you for your attention.
Senior management officials of the CHPA and the Ministry of Housing and Water. Ladies and gentlemen, you, the beneficiary, good morning. And welcome to this simple but significant ceremony in which we will officially commission this main highway leading to the many housing schemes that make up Parfaite Harmony. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, I wish to ask you to put your hands together for the many engineers, the project department, and the staff of CHPA, the contractors who would have done an exceptional job in bringing in this project on time and within cost. The contractors are all local. All their employees were all local. All the engineers and designers who work on this project were all local. This is Guyana. Guyanese would have delivered for each other. And today, we celebrate one such moment. And Mr. President, this is a fulfillment, a direct fulfillment of one of your manifesto promise to the people of Parfaite Harmony and the people of West Demerara. I ask you to put your hands together for the President and that promise that now is fulfilled. I would ask at this moment for Mr. Madhu who sits on the head table to stand, and I'll ask you to put your hands together before I tell you what an important contribution he's made. One of the most difficult tasks in this project was to get the land to connect the various schemes to the public road, because all the front lands are privately owned. We negotiated with many, but wherever the working class, wherever farmers congregate, sometimes they see in a faster way the social benefit of making a contribution to society. And Mr. Madhu, an exceptional Guyanese, granted this piece of land free of cost for the building of this highway. To you and your family, sir, to you and your family, we salute you. We thank you. And we say to you, you have left your mark in the development of your country. The journey started some time ago. The journey is not dead. The journey is more full of life today than yesterday. The vision is much newer today than yesterday. The commitment is much stronger today than yesterday. This is the message and promise of the government to you, the people of Parfaite Harmony. I want to assure you that we are ready to walk the journey of development, the journey of hope, the journey of positive thinking, and the journey that would see the improvement of the lives of all of us together with you. I ask you to put your hands together for the journey that is ahead of us. As we celebrate today, we must understand the challenges that still lies before us. We must understand the vision that lies before us. And we must all commit ourselves to the accomplishment of such vision. We must be positive. We must be confident about the future. We must embrace the future. And we must be willing to commit to the development of that future we all embrace. This road, the one alongside this one parallel to it, and the many other roads that were completed under this project came from indeed lots of vision, commitment of resources, both human and financial. I remember the front pages of many newspapers showing holes in major road coming out of Parfaite Harmony. Yes, we acknowledged then that there were challenges, and we committed to change things. And today, we are all sitting and standing on an output of that commitment. Well, let us see how many newspapers would put this in their front page tomorrow. How many journalists would be willing to tell this story today? How many would be willing to tell your story, the improvement in your lives, the new homes that you've invested in, the asset that you now have, that value that you now have in your life of owning your own homes? That is the missing story that sometimes we do not hear enough of. It is your sacrifice. It is your celebration. I ask all of us to recognize development where it needs to be recognized. I ask all of us to embrace the challenges, not with its negativity, but with a positive attitude of making the change that would ensure the development of our community. The Parfaite Harmony consists of 6 plantations. Parfaite Harmony Phase 1 and 2 Ononiming Phase 1 and 2, Westminster Phase 1 and 2, Reddorsey Phase 1 and 2, Schoonard and Luston Ross. The total number of lots is approximately 8,000. The total number of beneficiaries, approximately 40,000. The total investment from year 2000 to today, 15 billion Guyana dollar. The average investment per lot, approximately 2 million Guyana dollars. The key projects that are ongoing include upgrading of approximately 20 kilometers of roads to asphaltic concrete surfaces. And you will have drove through this area and you will see many of the roads under construction, and in some cases some would have already been completed. To those areas where we still have challenge, I assure you that your turn will soon come. I assure you that we remain committed in ensuring that every one of you benefit from the investment in infrastructure transformation of this area. The total investment in housing in Region 3 since 2000, year 2000 to date, is more than 13 billion Guyana dollars. This government, your government, has spent more than $30 billion in Region 3 in the last 14 years to improve housing in Region 3, and I think this deserves a round of applause. This is indeed a case of your government working for you. It is no favor. It is the responsibility of the government to deliver to its people. And I'm proud to say that I am part of a government that has took that responsibility seriously, and we can deliver every single day something new to the people of our country. Brothers and sisters, as I said, there still lie challenges. And I want to address a few and to tell you where we are. The issue of security is of paramount importance for these communities. Am I right? The issue of security is one that every single resident would have raised with us. And to tell you how serious an issue it is, only last night, after we painted the road, some individuals tried to burn the paint on the road. I ask of you to guard this infrastructure, guard this investment, because it belongs to all of us. It belongs to every single person who would use this road. So the issue of security is a priority. And after discussing this issue with the President, he immediately directed us to look for a solution. And I'm happy to say that the Guyana Police Force, working with the private sector, has already constructed a 40-foot container police outpost. And we are going to put that outpost at the head of this road so that we'll have security at the entrance and exit. And the presence of security will be known to all. So the issue of security will be addressed. The land has been identified, and within 1 week, we are hoping that that outpost can be up and running for the safety and security of the community. The issue of employment is another major issue. In developing a large housing scheme, we must address the issues of employment. The President, in the 2014 budget, delivered one of the most amazing and interesting programs for Guyana when he earmarked $1 billion for rural enterprise development. And I wish to tell you that we are presently doing an economic analysis in Parfaite for the establishment of a call center that would create more than 300 jobs for the people of this area. This is the output of your government working for you. We don't have any time in this country to worry about no confidence and confidence. Our worry should be in the development of our country, in the advancement of our people, and the delivery of a service for the improvement of the lives and living conditions of our people. And this should be the priority of every single politician that work in Guyana and every single Guyanese. Are you with me? Then I want to hear you applaud this. Brothers and sisters, the journey of hope, the journey of improvement, the journey of transformation is not a simple journey. It's a journey that is risky. It's a journey that is bold. It's a journey that's imaginative. It's a journey that encompasses a vision. And if you cannot be a risk taker, a visionary, then you cannot enter that journey of transformation. That is why the major projects which I know the President will address are of so much importance in this journey of transformation. The issue of schooling is also an important issue for you. And the CEO would have just announced that in keeping with the President's commitment of universal secondary education, very shortly a secondary school will be constructed for these communities. The issue of health care is also important, and the government is already undertaking preliminary works for the establishment of a polyclinic to bring a better primary health care to you and all of us from these communities. Put your hands together for these plans that will continue this journey of transformation, this journey of hope, and this journey of a vision for the improvement of the lives of all Guyanese. The issue of garbage disposal and the way we treat the environment is also a critical and important one. And you will see we are trying to change the culture. By magic, we grow these big trees overnight. I'm just kidding with you. These trees were transplanted last night. And this morning I received many calls. People saying they feel like if they're in Miami, they wake up, they go to sleep all night without trees and wake up the next morning with trees. But this is a change in culture, the change in mindset, the change in the way we view things. We have to stop thinking small. Stop thinking small in this country and to think big. We don't have enough time to catch up. We have to reach them. And that is why we would have planted these trees, because we see the potential and the difference in the vision that we have to portray to you, our brothers and sisters. So in the budget, the President again, recognizing the seriousness of the garbage disposal situation, would have directed that another $1 billion be set aside for the cleanup of our country. And we are hoping, Mr. President, that that program will reach Parfaite Harmony very soon, because the residents are eager and ready to work in partnership for the cleanup of their community. Are you with me? Brothers and sisters, the issue of the cemetery is also very important. We know we have to also take care of the dead. We are all heading there one day. So we have set aside, Mr. President, a section of land in Rec Dorsey Phase 3 for the building of a burial ground. Now, I will say this to you. Just like some people thought Parfaite Harmony was a far way to come and live, some people may think that it's a far way to be buried. But we are going to work with the community to build and create one of the most beautiful cemeteries in Guyana. A cemetery that will be worthy to speak about. One, not that you will be dying to wait, not one that you will want to die to go to, but one that you will eventually want to go to when you die. Right, P.S.? P.S. said he wants to reserve plot 1. The issue of sustainable development is also important. That is why we're developing a commercial zone. We also have the feasibility study of the new Demerara Harbor Bridge. We're going to build a bus stop. Very recently, the government allocated $2 million to the development of Rec Dorsey Community Center. These are all the developments that are planned. The paint that we use on this road is thermoplastic, and is one of a new technology in road marking. And we are hoping, by what has been presented to us, that the lifespan is how much? Is 5 years. And we have Mr. Kumar Singh here, who will hold to that warranty. The lifespan of the paint is almost 4 years. Brothers and sisters, in closing, Mr. President, we always talk about the investment in our human resources, the investment in our young people. As a result of the investment in the institutional strengthening of the Central Housing and Planning Authority, this road was completely designed and supervised in-house, saving Guyana and the government $320,000 US, or $64 million. And I think the team at CHPA deserves a round of applause for this. At this time, I want to conclude by congratulating, first of all, you, the stakeholders, for your patience, for your hope in journeying with us, the contractors, BK International and GEICO, Mr. Madhu, and the staff of CHPA for a job well done. Thank you very much.
Donald Robtar to make the teacher presentation.
It is indeed a pleasure to be here this morning to be part of this ceremony, because I myself have been approached on many occasions from people when they were allocated house lots in this area, asking if they can have somewhere else because of the question of roads and transportation to get to Georgetown. But the way this area is developing so rapidly, the urbanization that is taking place very quickly, and this road will almost make you feel as if you're living directly in Georgetown, because of the time that you will take to move to get to your destination will be cut tremendously. And that is important in many regards. It will help not only to make it more convenient, which is extremely important for commuters to go back and forth, but I anticipate that it will help with productivity as well, production and productivity, that people will be less tired and will be able to and get to work on time and be able to be more productive in whatever areas that they have to be engaged in. And that will, of course, will increase productivity as well. So let me say too that over the years we have traveled a significant journey. If you look at our country as a whole, at one time it was described as a hippie country, a heavily poor, indebted country. Today it is being described as a lower middle income developing country. But we have the capacity, we have the resources, and our people have been proven time and time again. In whatever circumstances you put our people, they find the ingenuity to develop and move forward. So we have the human resource, and I am confident in our own lifetime, and I'm not so young anymore, but in our own lifetime, we can take our country to being a developed country in the world. To do so, infrastructure like this is extremely important. Transportation is vital. You heard Minister Ali say that we are in the initial stage of making a study of looking at another bridge, another crossing to cross the Demerara River so that people can move more quicker, goods and services can move faster in our area, and that will stimulate economic development and economic progress. We need to develop the human capital. That is why we are placing so much emphasis on education. And that is one of the reasons that we want to have universal secondary education in Guyana, meaning that no child beginning school today should come out of school before they complete their secondary education. And that is important for many reasons. If you look at countries in the world that are poor and countries that are rich, and you try to see why some countries are rich and why some countries are poor, you will see that the countries that have developed the most are not necessarily the countries with the most natural resources, but it's the countries where you have the highest standard of education. And it tells us that the most important factor for development is our people. And therefore, investing in our people is investing in economic and social development. And we grasped that very early. Way back in 1992, one of the earliest programs we began was the housing program. And only those of us who had the experience of living in rented dwellings, those of us who, when we see the landlord coming into the yard, we wonder if he's coming to ask for an increase in rent. And sometimes when something even happens in your apartment, you don't want to tell the landlord because you know once he turns a screw, he might ask you to increase in rent. Only those of us who have that experience will appreciate the security that we feel, that we get when we turn our own key and have our own roof above our heads. I myself got that feeling quite late in life, but I am happy that the government has been able to deliver to young people much younger, who never had a hope. When people of my generation were their age, never had a dream or a hope of owning their own homes. Today, many of them can proudly say that they have their own homes and the security that comes from owning your own home. All of this is part of the development of the human capital to make us more productive, make us more ready to face the challenges in a modern and complex world. And those challenges are many. Because there are many things that we don't control, many things that happens outside of our country that we don't have direct control of, and therefore we have to deal with them and work to deal with those issues. And comrades, you will know also that the biggest impediment to us meeting many of our goals is the question of having cheap energy in our society. As we increase our housing schemes, as we increase in business, because we are having more and more investments in our country now, and as we want to transform some of our raw materials to finished products, we want to turn our agriculture, instead of just being agricultural products, to being agro-industrial products, where we can add value to them, create jobs, and earn much more money in the process. But one of the biggest things missing is the production and the availability of cheap energy for our development. You would have heard in many of the debates that took place in the National Assembly when we were debating the Amila hydropower scheme, some of these arguments coming forward. And yet we had them voting against the Amila Falls. Even now, some big companies that are coming in, they are now beginning to want to import LNG, liquid natural gas, to cut down on the cost of electricity. And you would have known that, because it has been said publicly before, that we subsidize electricity to you, the consumers, by some $9 billion a year, so that you don't pay the full cost of the electricity. With cheap electricity, you will be able not only to have more reliable power, but also you will stimulate industrial development, the job creation that Irfan just spoke about. We will create much more jobs and highly paying jobs in order for us to continue developing Guyana. And in preparation for this, you would have noticed that we are investing in not only expanding the University of Guyana, and trying to go to create degrees online, but we are building technical institutes and other areas like training people in operation of complicated equipment and so forth in the different ministries in our government. All in order to build the human capacity to develop and so that they can have a better life for themselves in the first place, but in the process in advancing the development of Guyana. So that is why, despite the fact that if we had had a little cooperation we would have already started to build the hydropower. But unfortunately, we have lost time. But I have not given up on that project. We are working very hard to start that work, to provide cheap electricity to the people of this country so that it can take our country forward. And we're working diligently to get the hydropower back on track. In that regard, we are also working with the Brazilians to study even more because the experts are already telling us that due to the speed at which our country is growing, that even when we build the hydropower station, that in a few years, because we expect that it will stimulate a lot of activities and development, that we will exhaust it in a quick way. So even while we're constructing it, we already have to start thinking of expanding and building on it even from now. And that is one of the reasons we're working with the Brazilians, so that when we would have taken up all the power that a miner can give, that we will not stop our development or retard our development, but we will have other sources on which we can continue to rely on. And moreover, with the advent of hydropower, not only will we be able to save the $9 billion that we subsidize electricity with at this point in time, but we will also have another saving, your saving on light bill. Even though now you do not pay the full amount, with what you pay now with hydropower, we will be able to cut your costs by between 20 and 40%. That means that you will have more disposable income. You will have more money in your pocket to spend on whatever you want to spend it on. And that by itself will give you an increase in your real income in our society. Apart from that, the $9 billion Irfan mentioned just now about the cleanup that we are doing, cleaning our country up. This is our country. This is not a job only for government. We got to have pride in our country. And this is a job of the whole country, individually, each of us and all of us together must be involved in this exercise to clean our country up. But can you imagine with $9 billion savings of 1 year, what we could do? We will not have enough contractors to take on jobs to beautify our surroundings, to clean up the garbage, to deal with many of the problems that we currently face. So this is the kind of direction, that we are going at this point in time. I have every confidence that with your support, with your understanding, with us working together hand in hand and in unity, the dream of making Guyana a developed country is not a remote one, but one that is achievable in our own lifetime. Because we have so much possibilities that we're working on now. Very soon, 2 new gold mines will be opened. I went about 3 weeks to a month ago to Aurora and see 700 Guyanese employed at working there and building a new gold mine. More also employed building another gold mine in the Karuni area. In agriculture, we want to also add, instead of only having big agriculture in rice and sugar, we want to have soya, and we're having investments in that area, in corn, so that we will immune ourselves. Because when the price of one is down, we can compensate by the price of others being up. The probability of all of them having low price at the same time is very remote. And we have possibilities too. I was recently in Sri Lanka to see what they do with the coconut tree. And we know that a lot of people plant the coconut and do nothing else with it except pick up coconut or pick water coconuts without caring. But if you see the things, including construction of homes with coconut trees, I was amazed to see how much things can be done with a coconut tree. And therefore it tells me that we have huge possibility of transforming this industry into another huge crop, similar to rice and sugar in Guyana. Comrades and friends, as I said, the possibilities are big. It is enormous. And let me conclude by thanking the Ministry of Housing, the Minister of Housing, his staff, the ministry itself, Housing and Water, to thank the contractors for a job that seems to be very good, and hopefully it will stand up and we won't see photograph in the newspaper with holes in it. So hopefully as I said, it looks extremely good from just looking at it. Looks like we have a good job of a good, strong and sturdy road. So I want to thank the contractors and the engineers for the work that they have done. And I ask you to continue to work with us so that we can realize the dream of making Guyana a developed country. Thank you very much for your attention.
Sir, Minister of Housing and Water, Mr. Irfan Ali, fellow members of the head table, residents of Parfaite and Haramonie scheme, special invitees, a pleasant good day. Today, indeed, it's my privilege to extend a vote of thanks and extend most of all our sincere gratitude to our President and to the Minister of Housing and Water. Indeed, this road would be of tremendous convenience to the working class of individuals that resides in Georgetown and to the students that have a very hectic time in the morning to travel to Georgetown. Our beloved President, Minister of Housing and Water, the staff of the Ministry of Housing for supervising this project, the contractor who has completed this task within the given period, and last but not least, the beneficiaries of this access road. With that, we would just like to say thank you, thank you, thank you.